How will Ruben Amorim set up Manchester United? Well, I'm going to try and tell you in this video. What I'm going to do is run through how Amorim set up his Sporting Lisbon team. We'll take a look at some of their characteristics in possession and out of possession. Nice and basic, top level, so you can understand it. And then we'll apply that to Manchester United. Take a look at the squad, how the players fit into it. Where are the strengths? Where are the weaknesses? Which players will thrive? Which players might struggle in that system? And what signings would United need to make to complete an Amorim team with three at the back? Because we're going to get a new system. First time we'll see Manchester United playing three at the back. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please do drop a like on this video if you do enjoy it. Let's jump straight into this one because it's going to be an interesting one. All right. So here is starting 11 for Sporting Lisbon. You can see, of course, you've got the system of three at the back. You've got Inacio Diamande and Esguerro, and you've got Quenda and Santos as the two wing backs, really high up. Santos, by the way, is actually more of a left midfielder, left winger. Could you see Anthony play there? I hope not. But it's just an interesting one. You've got your two central midfielders, Hjulmand and Braganca. Hjulmand, of course, was the replacement for Ugarte. Then you've got your two more like central attacking midfielders just behind the main man, Gyökeres, up front. They are an aggressive team. They like to build up in a variety of ways, right? You could see the balls coming through the two outer centre-backs through the middle. You could see the overlapping runs from the wing-backs down the wings there, balls over the top. You can see that there's options. There are a variety of ways they can bring that ball forward, whether it's central progression, whether it's down the wings, whether it's over the top and a little bit more direct to Gyökeres, all right, which have actually they certainly have done if you look at how their team has adapted and improved. Now, out of possession, very much, they are an aggressive team. And I think aggression and intensity are the two buzzwords, really, that you'll see attached to Ruben Amorim's shape. Whether or not that translates to Manchester United, we'll see, because Ten Hag was supposed to have intense football. There was supposed to be aggression there, but it just wasn't there. The central pairing will really stay central. I think that'll be music to United fans' ears. Hjulmand and Braganca, that was a big problem that we had. Isolated central midfielders, so much space, problems on the transition. Because they're going to have three centre-backs there, there is protection. There's lots of protection defensively. In fact, defensively, Sporting Lisbon are one of the best in Europe. That's what the team is built on. But they like to press aggressively hard up the pitch. If not, they'll drop back into shape. There's a variety in terms of progression, bringing the ball forward. And it's an exciting setup. Now, how does it fit into United? That's the big question, all right? And I'll tell you what. I think this United squad is pretty well suited to playing three at the back, all right? What I'm going to show you here is probably what I would put down as the best 11 if everybody was fit. Now, everyone isn't fit. Let's get into it. Leny Yoro in this system would be easily the best defender that we have. All right. He is somebody who's very, very good at doing this, right? He's somebody who's very, very good at marking the channels. Yoro can cover all that space on his own. I'll be honest, I'd be a little bit concerned about Martinez covering that much space. I think De Ligt playing as the central centre-back in this system, he can be aggressive. He can try and, engage in these areas, but he'll be protected quite well. He's the leader. He would be the leader. But Martinez will be questionable. Now, in terms of the wing-backs, Diogo Dalot, I actually think athletically would suit this system quite well. What about his deliveries? Questions. I probably have questions mainly around central defensive depth in this formation and wing-backs. But I'm not even going to tell you about left wing-back. You already know that. But Mazraoui would probably be the starter in this. I mean, if Luke Shaw was fit, but he's not even going to be fit. Apparently, there's been another setback. I mean, who saw that coming apart from absolutely everybody? That as a central midfield pairing. Ugarte, of course. You know, when Ugarte went to PSG and people were like, PSG were like, oh, he's not actually that good at progressing the ball. In this system, the two central midfielders, they're not particularly tasked with progression. And Ugarte will come back and shine in this system. Of course, he played under Ruben Amorim before. He'll know it inside out. It's about getting the balls through towards your two attacking midfielders or over the top towards your wing-backs that hold that width, that play high up the pitch. You will, not if it happens, by the looks of things, you may well see this. The wing-backs going really high. Højlund being able to actually run inside the box and actually get some deliveries. And I tell you what, if I'm going to choose one player, ladies and gents, who I think would thrive in this system, I would choose Højlund. from a profile perspective, shares a lot that Gyökeres has in terms of his power, his strength, his athleticism. And I think he's the player who I would choose to absolutely shine in it. Another player who I would expect to absolutely love the system is Ugarte, of course, because he's played in it before. I think it would really suit Lenny Yoro. He loves covering those spaces on his own. He loves covering the channels, and I think he'd really, really enjoy it. And Bruno Fernandes, I think would, because of the protection he would therefore get by having two central midfielders who actually stay central and don't really shift too much, not really aggressive man-marking pressing, kind of zonal pressing. Everybody shifts across together rather than chasing the ball down, and that left so many spaces before. That means that Bruno will have that security behind him, and I think Bruno will be better for it. And I tell you what, Mainu, because he's therefore going to have three centre-backs behind him, he can focus on bringing the ball forward. So I actually think it brings out a lot of good from a lot of these United players. I would have question marks over Martinez's athleticism to cover those channels on his own. He would need to be covered, especially because the wing-backs are going to play a high-risk system. They will leave spaces. He will have to cover. So that's either going to have to be covered by Mainu dropping across to cover the space, or by whoever's playing left wing back to drop back and drop deep. Now, I would also have questions about who the best two choices are to play in these roles here. I've got Bruno and Garnacho down, right? But you've got Rashford as an option. You've got Ahmad as an option over there. And you've got Xerxes. Now, Xerxes, of course, played the system, the three at the back system with Bologna. And he played it well. Ahmad thrived at Sunderland when he played as more of an inside forward. Rather than somebody who was wide, he drifted centrally. That's a position I think would absolutely really suit Ahmad. And I think we've actually got some real quality and depth in there. So I think overall, this system would suit United quite well. In terms of how I think he could actually line up against Chelsea in terms of who's available, probably looking at something like this. Eriksen in midfield, Evans probably as a central centre-back. That's just a little bit of a guess. But overall, I think a lot of this squad suits the system. If you even look back at the summer transfer window, you're thinking Lenny Yoro, he fits in that system. Manuel Ugarte, well, of course, he would fit in that system. Mazraoui, I think he would pretty much fit in that system. Xerxes, I do think... Now, Xerxes, look, he's far down the pecking order, right? He's looked heavy. It just hasn't worked for him so far at all. And if you're looking at more of what he's had at Sporting Lisbon, Edwards and Gonçalves, from a profile perspective, low centre of gravity, agile players compared to Xerxes, who's more heavy duty, holding the ball up, slightly different. So I'd have question marks and concerns about him. Overall, that system, it can lead to very exciting football if the players buy in, but the same thing existed with Erik ten Hag. That would be my concern, is how much he can get the players to buy in. But with that shape, the defensive transitions would be nowhere near as awful. You would see that defense protected. That space will never be vacated anymore, right? You're going to see a lot of overlapping runs in the wing-back positions. You're going to need to see some real athletes, and I think we need to sign one, if not two wing-backs. I think we need to sign one, if not two, probably central defenders as well. I think that you need some defensive reinforcement to have that squad be capable of playing across the course of the season. But I think overall, Ruben Amorim's system, while three at the back might feel like a huge change for a lot of United fans, I actually think quite a lot of this United squad slots into it. Sure, but we'd need improvements. Of course. 4, 5, 6 players probably. A couple of transfer windows, maybe. Overall, I think it suits it quite well. And if I was going to choose one player, I choose Højlund. Now, Marcus Rashford may well thrive in that system there, maybe where you could see this, for example. You could see Bruno come over to the left-hand side, and you could see Rashford go on that right-hand side. And, of course, then you've got Dalot doing the overlaps. It allows Rashford to occupy these positions, just as an inside forward, and then probably shoot from these angles. That could happen. That could work. There are a variety of options in attack. Which one Amorim would choose, I don't know. But I like the look of it on paper. I wonder how it would work in reality. Would we get that aggression? Would we get that intensity? That remains to be seen. But from a system perspective, There's lots to like about it. What do you think about it? How it fits the squad? Let me know in the comments.